Yeah, welcome to this episode. The United States has sent a blockade to the Strait of Hormuz. A scenario whereby you are sending a blockade to a strait that has already been blocked. It's quite funny. So that is the news now. The United States has sent a blockade to the Strait of Hormuz to make sure that no ship pass through the strait. So we'll talk about that soon. So let's first talk about the peace talk or the negotiation that happened recently in Pakistan between the United States and Iran. I want us to look at their position in this negotiation. At the end of that 21 hours peace talk, it collapsed and there was no deal. So I want us to look at their position. Let's first look at the position of Iran. Is that stop attacking us. They want a stop to the attack. So they don't want the United States to attack them again. They want this permanent ceasefire. And the second is that for them to promise that there won't be a future attack. There are situations whereby the Iran's having negotiation with them and they will just come unplanned and they will hit them. That happened last year, June 2025, and it happened this year, and that was February 28th. They were having negotiation and just went ahead and bombed them. So they are asking that they don't want a future attack. And the third is compensation. They want the United States to compensate them. I think that is what is actually resulted to what you are saying, the Strait of Hormuz. So they had to block that strait. So for them to get there, they are even went ahead to start charging people. As we look at China and other nations, charging them and getting like $2 million per ship. So, and this is what actually led to the aggression that we are seeing. So we're still getting to that. But let's look at the position of the United States. What they are saying is that no news. They don't want a nuclear weapon. They don't want them to have nuclear weapon. Basically, they are enemies, so they don't want the Iran to have nuclear weapon. The second is that they open the straits, and that is the oil routes. That they open the Strait of Hormuz for them for the normal business, the normal way of doing business to continue, and also to protect the petrodollar. That is essentially important for the United States economy. So the third one is they stop backing regional militants like Hezbollah and others. Those are their positions, and you can see that this is the reason why they are not agreeing. And looking at the United States position, they don't agree to it. They believe that they are sovereign nation and they can decide to have something to protect them for their own security. You cannot see the reason why there was no deal in that meeting, or I call it a peace talk now. Iran wants to control the Strait of Hormuz because they now discovered that Strait of Hormuz is even, the weapon is even bigger than the nuclear weapon that they were looking, their ambition to get a nuclear weapon. This Strait of Hormuz gives them a lot of power to affect everyone. Even here in Nigeria, it's affecting us. It's affecting us greatly. That our oil now, like if you want to buy a liter of oil in Nigeria now, it's around 1,300, around 350. It was 700 naira before, and now it's around 1,300, 1,350. And in the United States, I think it's now $4 or $4.5. Something that was way lesser than that. So they have a weapon that they can actually use to affect their adversary, and they didn't actually know this. Trump let them to know, this particular choke point, that this Strait of Hormuz is a great weapon that you can use, and they are using it seriously. And that is what they don't want actually to let go. And the United States is asking them to allow it a full reopening. They don't want them to attack anyone in the streets. And that is the weapon they are using to deal with the United States at this time. And that is what brings me to the what I discussed at the beginning, that the blockage to the blocked Strait of Hormuz. The United States are saying their military to the Strait of Hormuz, block it now, so that any ships like looking at China, China is an ally to Iran, ship from other countries that they have paid, no used to pay to Iran. They want everything to be blocked now, so that Iran will not make any money from the streets. So now the Mr. Tariff that is asking the Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz is now the one asking. It's not the one asking his military to go and block the Strait of Hormuz, so that the Iran will not have full control or to make money from the straits. What I'm thinking is this is a wall of control. The United States wants to keep control. They want to keep the empire. They want to keep the petrodollar. And then if you look at it very well, if they don't fight this war to the end, they will lose their influence in that region. They will lose their influence totally. They will lose their influence in that region in such a way that they have to move everything. Maybe to become petrol yuan. I don't know the currency used in China. You can correct me. So they will have to pay in that Chinese currency instead of United States dollar. So their dominance in that region will collapse if they don't fight that war to the end. There was time he was asking their allies like UK, like France to come to their aid. Said, I don't need you again, I don't need you again, you can go. Now he's asking them to come back. And they are saying, I saw a post yesterday from the UK, the Prime Minister says no, that we'll partner with France. Probably they want to look for ways to help, but they don't want to listen to Trump. I think this war is actually a challenge to Trump standing, or let me say, the United States standing in the world. It's actually challenging their standing, it's challenging their empire, it's challenging their influence. That invisibility that the world actually believes about them is challenging it at this time. This Iran war. They are not actually, Iran is strategic with their actions, everything they do. They actually, I saw a post that one of their military was saying, it's funny to me that I'm seeing the United States saying they want to block the blocked Strait of Hormuz. Even myself, it's really, really funny, because how can you block something is already blocked? You say it's blocked, so why do you want to now block what is already been blocked? It's funny. So I don't know how the United States will come out of this. The only solution is to just leave that particular region, go and leave the region. That is not only, or they beg them to just beg them, or to look for ways to pay them out, to take care of their country, to rebuild their society. I think, to me, that is the solution. You can drop that in the comments. What do you think is the solution to this problem right now? What the United States is actually passing through in the region? I don't know what Trump wants to tell the taxpayer that is actually financing these military men that are working in the region at this time. So please let me know your thoughts. What do you think will be the end to this conflict? How do you think this conflict will end? Do you think this will destroy the United States empire, or this will actually lead to the destruction of Iran completely using nuclear weapons? Because for me, I don't know how the United will feel at the end of everything if it truly destroy a nation on earth. It will really affect, it will destroy their standing. I don't know, I don't think they will use nuclear weapon on Iran, but my own prediction is that they will definitely look for ways like to beg them to beg them and also to compensate them for what they have done, because they are actually holding their boss, like they are, Iran is holding the boss of the United States in this US and Israel war against Iran. So let me know your thoughts, please. Please, you do me a favor, please subscribe. That is the only way you can help me to motivate me. It really go a long way. I really appreciate it. Don't take your time, just click the subscribe button, like, comment, engage the content. So this will help the YouTube to allow other people to see my content. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for following and then for subscribing.